afternoon. My name is Brandy Morris. This is Impartial Fulfillment of Nursing 5309. Today we're going to be doing problem-based learning on the layperson with limited medical knowledge. We're going to be talking about stroke signs and symptoms and proper response. Hi, how are y'all doing?
Fine.
Good. So today we're going to bring about a problem scenario and we're going to work through it. We're going to talk about where we can find some resources that you can know more about it, and then we're going to talk about what you learned. So I want to introduce the problem scenario. The problem is that you think a family member may be having a stroke. So what are the possible signs and symptoms, and what is the proper response? So first, I'm going to go ahead and write down the problem. So the problem is stroke signs and symptoms, and then proper response. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about what you know about stroke already.
I know that it is a killer of many thousands of people each year.
Okay. So high mortality rate.
High mortality rate.
What else about stroke? What would you see possibly in a person that's having a stroke?
Possibly facial figures, facial changes in their faces.
Okay.
Changes in their face.
Okay.
And it's possible a change in their behavior.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. So what do you think that you would do for somebody that was having a stroke? What would be your first inclination?
Call 911.
Call 911. Very good. Why do you think it's important to call 911?
Because if it is a stroke, in which it could be a possible fatal stroke, you want to get them in as soon as possible.
Okay.
Even if you're not really sure, that would be the best way. That would be my feeling, to get someone to look at this person and see if it was really a stroke.
Okay.
Well, I've also read too that their chances of surviving a stroke are better the quicker somebody gets to them.
Good, good. So let's talk some more about signs and symptoms. You mentioned the change in the face and the change in the behavior. So I think maybe we know those two things, that there may be some more areas that we can find more about some signs and symptoms. So let's think about some resources that maybe we can use to solve our problem on the signs and symptoms. So what do you think are some possible resources that you could use to learn more about this?
Obviously, get online and look it up.
Okay. Good.
Resource.
Good, okay. Anything else that you get on a daily basis, or anything come to you that you could read?
Magazines.
Oh, okay, good.
Magazines.
Good, okay. So go ahead and look on your website and kind of the information that you have, and go ahead and y'all kind of look at that together, and then y'all can kind of come up with some stuff that y'all want to let me know about what you've learned.
Well, one thing, I got an email the other day that a friend reminded me of the things that you need to check on a person to be sure whether they're having a stroke or not. And that's what we have here, is it's, face. It's called, when a person smiles, does one side of their face droop?
Okay.
They came back a perfect smile.
Okay.
When you ask them to raise their arms, one of them they can't raise.
Okay.
That's the A in the past.
Okay.
And the S is the speech, because you ask them to talk and their speech is slurred or it's not coherent. And then, like we said a while ago on the time, you want to call 911 immediately, because their chances of surviving a stroke are a lot greater the quicker they get to them.
Okay, good. So that's off of the website
Right.
that you got? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
What have you found in some of your magazine and the other stuff that you looked at?
I did not know that children were a risk of stroke, really. You don't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting that over 500,000 people in the United States have a new stroke, which means something that they've not had before. So, you know, it's, and I didn't know that if you have a severe headache.
Yeah, that's the one that surprises me. I didn't know
That really surprised
that they got a severe headache.
Good, okay.
That's interesting.
So we use your resources, you use, and was that the Stroke Association? So, stroke.org, is that the website that you use?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you got a magazine?
The magazine Stroke Smart.
Magazine.
Very interesting.
Smart. Okay.
Very
And
good.
email from a friend
Okay.
that they send it around to different people
Okay.
to remind them, because obviously we're in an older group and probably more susceptible to that sort of thing.
Good, okay. So we agree that probably the Stroke Association and all that's probably the best place for your resources. Okay, good. Is there any information that you want to know more? Is there any kind of gaps in some of the resources that you've seen, or is there anything else that you would want to know about stroke, or maybe somewhere else that you could look? Or is it pretty kind of told you most everything that you want to know?
It's some great resources here. This stroke.org is a
Good.
very good resource here.
Good. So some things that we learned. You told me about the FAST acronym,
Right.
which is face. You said face,
Mm-hmm.
and then arms,
Arms,
and then
speech,
and then time.
and time.
Okay. And you also told me about the headaches,
Right, that's,
sudden headaches.
yeah. Well, there's also in here, even though it talks about the arms and stuff, but it mentions the fact that they're dizzy and they may not could walk,
Okay, good.
you know, that they get dizzy.
Okay.
Because I've heard a lot of people say, oh man, I'm feeling dizzy.
Okay.
You know, and you don't really know if that's just because they got up too quick, or whether, you know, they're really having a problem.
Good.
So that would cause you to look at these other things if they had severe dizziness.
Good.
Being a woman, I found this interesting that more women, 55,000 more women than men have stroke each year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realize that. I thought that.
That's very good. Yep, that's a lot of good knowledge.
Mhm.
So, okay, so y'all did really good with, you feel like your resources were pretty effective that you looked at.
Very good.
So, our outcomes, so we've got our stroke signs and symptoms that y'all have gone over, the FAST, the headaches, dizziness, difficulty walking, and y'all already did the proper response was calling 911, which is the time on there too. So, y'all did some really good research on that, and y'all really learned more about stroke. Do you feel like it was effective in the resources that you used?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, when I got that email, it kind of sparked my curiosity about it, because I had not seen that before.
Great.
And then when we dealt in it deeper here, because it was just said if you notice somebody, you know, doing this fast thing, that was a quick way.
Great.
And now that I see the things that contribute to it, and you know, you don't think of it, you just having a stroke out of the blue. But if you look here, it says the type of food you eat, alcohol, you know, that sort of thing. That all increases your risk for having that sort of thing.
Good. We all did really good. I'm very glad that y'all were able to find the resources, and you really did learn more about stroke signs
Yes,
and
we did.
symptoms. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.